And do a practice. Maybe you can practice with me. Put your hand on your heart. So you can feel your heartbeat. Really make contact with the feeling of the heart beating beneath your palm. There's a real live friend underneath your palm whose job it is to help you stay alive and awake and present to life. And if you could take your other hand and put it on your belly. I think somewhere near the belly button, maybe a little above the belly button. For me, that's often a feeling of strong emotion. I feel it in the gut right there. There's a lot of strength and a lot of power in the belly. And the force of life. And the breath. Filling up the lungs at the very base of the lungs, expanding the ribs. So I'd like to offer a little conversation about mindful relationships. And how many people are in a mindful relationship? Yes? Hands? Anybody want to raise their hand? How anybody is in a relationship of any kind? How many people are single? I'm not looking, so don't worry. Okay. And, this person beneath my palms, that's my main relationship right now. It's like it's the big one. The one that I'm committed to, thankfully, for life. It was a long journey for me to be committed to this person beneath my palms. So you can release your hands if you'd like, or if you want to keep them there, that's okay too. I lived just down the street on Garden about more than 12 years ago. After my first retreat with Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh. Some of you that might identify Thich Nhat Hanh as your teacher. Many of us do, if not all of us. And I remember doing a lot of walking meditation in the Arboretum up here. A lot of slow walking meditation. And I was single at the time and dealing with a lot of strong emotions. I was a survivor of child sexual abuse and also very horny. Okay, I'll just say that word. So with a combination of being very mindful and attentive to the power of sex or the power of sexual feelings, what it can do when it's mistreated, and looking for a way to have a constructive relationship with sexual energy, and finding a way, and yet I didn't know at the time yet that I was finding this, but finding a way to a sense of dignity and respect for my own body and mind. And I think that's what the experience of healing sexual abuse has offered me. It has offered me a chance to to really know in myself what it is to care for myself, and what maybe a healthy, compassionate relationship, love relationship, sexual relationship, or just any relationship could be. So this practice, many practices in daily life, but I wanted to talk about sitting meditation in terms of how it's helped me with mindful sexuality, and just being aware of sexuality, but also working compassionately with the desires and feelings that come up inside of me. And oftentimes it's a physical feeling, like I feel it in my heart, like I have an attraction to someone, or I might feel it in my gut, there's a little bit of fear. And oftentimes I'll just place my hands on those two areas, and first noticing and just first honoring that the body is feeling something. It's there, it's doing something, I'm alive, fresh, yay. I've looked a lot deeply into sexual desire, because it wasn't easy to have a sexual relationship. I've had sexual relationships. I've been abstinent for about maybe over 3 years, maybe almost 4 years. I was in a relationship with someone for 5 years, and that ended pretty sourly. I had a very poor perception of myself and life after that relationship. And so I really took time and have taken this time to sit with everything I'm feeling. And having the space and the support, particularly of monastics and non-monastics and friends that I consider friends on the path, to sit with these strong feelings in order to cultivate a capacity to sit with them. When I was alone at Garden Street, I had to walk because sitting was too much. There was too much energy running through me. I was young and I said the word, so I did walking. And then when I felt like I had a strong enough support and I felt safe enough, somehow I gave myself permission to feel safe in an environment through time, then I felt encouraged to just sit and be with what was happening inside of me, and to look real intentfully inside, and to find some quiet space inside of me, and to hear all the voices that wanted to come up. So these past 3 or 4 years have been a treat for myself. And I don't know that maybe it was a choice to not be in a relationship. Maybe it was partially because I didn't find anyone that was interesting to me. But also, I think over time of sitting and looking at why am I feeling sexual desire? Or what's coming up in me? Why is this feeling when I see this person, or when I think of this thing in the past? What does it do to me? So having the opportunity to sit with that, I think I lost interest in doing things that would harm me, or things that would not put me in a situation that would be good, that would maybe make me feel happy or I'm freer. Instead, a lot of the relationships I was in were destructive. They hurt the other person. There was cheating involved, or there was just generally the relationship didn't feed me in the right way. And so that practice of coming back to myself is the anchor. It's really the anchor. Like when I'm afraid, like thinking, I'm almost, mid-30s. Well, am I going to be alone if I don't start seeking for someone or something? Am I going to be alone? And I sit with that. Like, oh, feeling alone. Like there might be a chance that I'm going to be a single me. Am I okay with that? Like, just sit with that. Breathe with that. Be with that. Or like, is there a really potential that I could be with somebody and I could be really positive and wonderful? Okay, let me sit with that. Oh, that's a little scary. I don't know if I can do the commitment thing. Like, oh, no. Okay, let me be with that. And then all these signs, all these friends who do all kinds of things with all kinds of people and in all kinds of places, and I'm breathing and smiling with monks and nuns. And what a wonderful gift. What a wonderful gift to this life here. And because I have an aspiration to help others, and because I have dedicated my life to helping others, then I feel like I want to have a sort of life that will be of beaming support. Could my body and my relationships actually support others? Cultivate wisdom and compassion inside of them. The capacity to look deeply inside themselves and to have relationships that maybe grow a family as large as Western Washington University. And I don't mean like through offspring. But I mean creating families that are sustainable and families that nurture this sense of oneness with all of life. And that everybody right here, you could be my brothers and sisters. If I really look deeply inside myself, if I want a continuation, maybe you can be my continuation too. Like maybe what I'm offering now is a way of inspiring you to make a creative offsprings, like creative in art, in music, because I'm a musician and a dancer, and so always coming back to myself. There's a couple books, Finding the Girlfriend Within, and Finding the Boyfriend Within. I read one of them. I won't tell you which one. And I wasn't looking for at the time, but then after I finished the book and dated myself many times, took myself to the movies, I actually found a partner. That's the last partner who lasted for 5 years. It was a pretty good run. It was a good effort, and now I don't dare read the book again because I don't want to find anyone, and I just know that it'll happen if it happens, and again, returning home, and just being okay with like this right here, and it seems like the more and more I trust what's beneath my palms, what's inside my palms, what's here with me, the more support I have in my life. Less alone I feel, less lonely, less anxious for something other than what I already have. And it's wonderful to be in a partnership and to practice that together. And to practice for yourself in a partnership, and to offer each other that stability of the mountain solid of sitting for yourself, sitting first for yourself, which to me also means sitting for the other, because when you're in here with you, you have a better capacity to be there for the other person. And when I attempt to be in relationship with people, no matter if it's a sexual relationship or just a relationship with anybody, I'm having a sense of connection. I'm looking deeply into their eyes, making a connection at the heart, and am I able to see you, and be with you, and with myself, I feel like the more I'm with myself, the safer I feel, the better I feel. I can be with you. I can be with you right here. And there's no fear in that. So, I'll let you know 10 years from now if I ever am in a partnership and if I've actually practiced this with the partner, and I hope I do. And I hope that all of you can be successful in any relationship you have, and that it brings you a lot of happiness and freedom.
Hello everyone. Just sitting here, I just want to share, I feel it's awesome that you're all here and that there is a meditation group for you all to come together and practice together in such numbers. Wow, that's amazing. That's wonderful. So whoever's been, creating conditions for that in the past and the present is, thank you. So also sitting here, I'm very much aware of that things change. This morning we sat down a little bit and had some ideas of what we wanted to share. And I just see that I think it changed what I want to share with you. And also the second thing that I'm very aware of that is we cannot say that we're separate from each other. So sitting here listening to my sister and brother and just being in your presence, you can feel there's a connection, there's a real connectedness that is happening, and it also inspires us and it also affects us in a very real way. So I'd like to share a little bit about my experience with going on Wake Up Tour. This is my third Wake Up Tour and going to some campuses, and we've had other kind of events too, but especially going to different campuses, I have a chance to look deeply into my life at university. I went to university in Sweden where I grew up and was born. And I started practicing meditation also when I went to university, but I didn't know anyone my age that was practicing at that time. So also that's kind of like, I feel grateful for you. So the college student side of me is also like happy to be your friend on the path. And I could see very clearly that when I sat for 20 minutes every day, and I did it for like a couple of months at a stretch, I see like every aspect in my life changed. The way I could focus in class, the way I would interact with people, everything was just so much richer. My life just felt so much more interesting, more alive, and then I thought everything's fine, so I would stop sitting. And after a couple of weeks, it's like, whoa, it's not as smooth anymore. It's like things are kind of getting... life is becoming kind of rusted up a little bit. So that helped me to come back and practice. I think that is why I volunteered to go on a couple of wake-up tours, because I like to. And that's why I get up in the morning to go to our 5:45 meditation sitting at Deer Park, because I like to. So it's really important for me to find a way to practice that inspires me. So for all of us to do that, how is our relationship with our practice? And with mindfulness and with the present moment? How does our practice of meditation relate to our daily life? How can we bring them together? So when I've been reflecting on my time at university, I see that there's like a lot of habit energy that was influencing me. I wasn't free. What I studied, it was like an expectation or an idea that had been transmitted from my family, and I kind of, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to show that I can make this. And even if I had a lot of doubts on the path and those 5 years at university and like didn't feel like this is really what I want to spend my time with, I pushed through and I was able to do it. But also in other terms, like how I would spend my time, how I would get engaged in relationships, how I would relate to alcohol. the messages I got from my peers in society, what was okay and what was normal and what was like fun to laugh at, I just feel like something in my heart feel like, no, it's not. That's not how I feel. That's not how I want to live my life deep inside. But I wasn't free enough to live my life in a more authentic way at that time. So it took some time. So that's why I feel like when I'm coming back to campus, without regretting the past, I'm also reflecting into like my time at campus and university and seeing like what could have been. So understanding what that time of life means. We have so much potential. Our physical and our mental capacity is amazing. So the thing that we can learn, the relationship we can develop, can create a wonderful foundation for the rest of our lives. So it's like really a precious opportunity, but no pressure. I think you have enough pressure. So just think like, wow, life is precious, and I have a great opportunity to live life now, but also create a solid and a beautiful foundation for the rest of my life. Kind of a wake-up bell I had in Stockholm after I graduated, and I had been working for several years. And I was working in a small law firm, and the partner, she was not that much older than me. And I could see the way she lived her life. She was a mother and a wife, and they had a couple of houses, and her husband also was a consultant and had his own business. And she wanted to have a lot of interactions and a rich social life, and had a lot of interest. And as I got to know her and the family better, I could see like actually the way at work, the way with her son, and it was always the next thing, going to the next thing. And outward everything seems great, but she wasn't very happy, and she wasn't very healthy and well. And so that was, for me, was like a kind of a mentorship in a way. She taught me a lot of things. I'm very grateful for her in many ways, but that was like one thing that just dawned on me. It's like, I don't want to live my life like that. Always like rushing for the next thing and more and better or whatever. These kind of expectation or ideas that we might be bombarded with, or that we might carry within us. What are our expectations? So that's some of the habit energy we talk about. What are those energies inside of us we feel like we should do, we have to do? And what are the messages we're receiving from outside? So to be able to really come back and look at ourselves, how do I want to live my life? What's important for me? That is why I want to bow to the Sangha here, like the community of friends on the path. Because without that, it's difficult. Without that as a frame of reference and as support, yeah, cool. You started sitting every morning now, and you've been able to do it for like 6 months. Wow, good for you. I'm going to try to follow your example. Now to have that kind of reinforcement. I remember one day when I just come over to Deer Park from Plum Village in France, and I went out with a brother doing some errands, and he took me to Henry's. It's Sprouts now. It's like a big grocery store. And he said, okay, I'll buy you a juice. And we went up to the juice counter. And I've been living in rural France for about 4 years. And coming towards the juice, and I rarely went to the store. Going to the juice counter, it's like, I don't know how many meters full of different kinds of juices, different sizes, but even just like that size is like maybe 100 different kinds of juices, different companies, different mixtures, different berry boost, blast, or whatever. And I just standing in front, it's like, so, well, anything is fine, but at the same time we have all those choices. It seems like the choice is so important. You have to pick the right one, and which I pick is like it's kind of who I am a little bit. So for me, if I would live and practice in society, I would try to simplify as many things as possible. Kind of what kind of things do I want to buy? Where do I want to eat? How do I want to eat? So we try to bring mindfulness into everyday activities. And today we don't have so much time. This last weekend when we had the 2 days, we practiced eating meditation together. We practiced tea meditation together. We practiced deep relaxation, laying down meditation. We practice sharing and listening to each other, also in mindfulness. And a description to all those practices are also in the booklet you have, so you can kind of continue to look into that and seeing how can we relate the mindfulness practice or the meditation practice we do on the cushion, the books we're reading about meditation and spirituality, how can we bring that into our life, to infuse our life so that we're able to touch the present moment more often. So we have a lot of tools that we use in our practice to kind of help remind us, because it seems like it's easy to forget and something is carrying us away, and we forgot that we have a body, we forgot about our breath. So we use our breath a lot, since our breath is always with us. So it's easy to have as a focal point, as an anchor. But it also is such an intimate way of coming back into our body and coming in contact with our feeling in our mind. So when you're observing yourself, when you're at the library or you're about to take an exam, and you're aware of your breathing, and you will notice the way your breathing is, the way your body is, also your feeling and your mind will be there. So when something important is going on in our life, if we're able to focus and center ourselves in our breath, in our body, to be really present, also our potential comes out in a very natural way. So it can be like a moment of, wow, being there for the exam and letting go of the worry. But yes, I want to do the best I can in this exam. At the monastery, we also play many things. We do hiking meditation, volleyball meditation, ping pong meditation. And sometimes the brothers, we go down early for volleyball. The volleyball court is at the sisters' hamlet, but sometimes we go down early, maybe 6 or 8 of us, so we can play some. And we really want to play a good game. We enjoy playing a good game. So we can set for each other and spike and then block it back up and like have a really good game going. But at the same time, there's no like you're trying to win over the other person. It's very easy to change teams. And like one game ends, okay, let's do another one, because you like it, because it's fun to do like play your best game kind of thing. It's fun to use your potential and try to excel, but there's no competition. There's no like feeling, oh, I play so badly today and she's so good or something. It's like enjoying that individually but also collectively. So for me, mindfulness has helped a lot in terms of that, and not feeling like I have to prove myself and be something. And when that comes up, I try to breathe with it and like seeing the bigger picture. How can we have a good time together, and how can we learn to play volleyball better? How can we learn to organize the retreat better? So it's more harmony and it is more beneficial for everyone that comes. So for me, they go really well together. Like our sister was sharing the importance of having like a regular sitting practice, and when you could just focus on one thing. I see how well that goes into and feeds into my daily practice. So if I do sit, the way I eat, the way I speak will also be more present and more kind and more coming from my heart. But if I forget to sit, the way I would eat, the way I would interact will also start becoming a little bit less solid, less present. And then the way I live my life, if when I go to bed at night, for example, I take like half an hour before going to bed. I don't do any emailing, no computing, no television or excited conversation, but I take maybe some movement, drink some hot water and wash up as I'm preparing to go to bed. And I lay in bed and I follow my breathing, and I'm aware of my body, and I let my body sink into the mattress, relaxing my body and falling asleep like that. It'll be much easier to get up in the morning and enjoy my sitting. And my mind will be more calm already starting. So they like really feed into each other. So yeah, thanks all for being here and for practicing together and with us today.
It's wonderful to look out and see everyone. Yeah, things change, similar to what Brother Phap Ho said. We had some ideas of what to speak, but I'm feeling a bit inspired by all of you and all the sharing. Walking here, I saw a sign as we're entering the building, and it said Western Washington University, Active Minds, Changing Worlds. Is that changing the world? Is that
Changing lives.
Changing lives. Active minds, changing lives. I saw that. I was like, oh, interesting. Active minds. It's definitely what's my memory of being in university, being in school, was not only active mind, but really developing somewhat of an overactive mind, constantly analyzing things, deconstructing. When I see something, my mind. I didn't really learn how to take care of my mind and my body. Right? And I actually did attend a meditation class when I was in college. We had elective units. It was like at 6:30 in the morning, something like that. So, but I didn't have a constant practice. Later on, the last several years, I've been finding how valuable sitting is. As everyone has shared, how the power of sitting, how it can deepen our ability to cultivate, I guess, a definition of mindfulness that I heard one time shared by a teacher was relaxed attention. So for me, it's something when sitting, by bringing my mind back to my body through the breath, developing a relationship between my mind and my body. And the unique thing about the breath is that we're always breathing, right? Are we aware of our breath? If we're not breathing, then we're not alive. But how often are we aware of our breath? I know I tend to hold my breath. That was something I learned. So developing our relationship with ourselves and our breathing, sitting has been invaluable for that. I heard our teacher one time say, sitting is like sleeping, it's like eating. It's something that we do to restore ourselves. And I realize that's a way of really cultivating, I guess, that our ability to be present. Right? So I have a question. I know you're all students, so so how many people had 8 hours of sleep last night? How many people had 7 hours? 6, 5, 4, 3. At one point, has anyone ever stayed up all night? Raise your hand. Okay, so if you've stayed up all night, what are you like the next day? Yeah? Yeah, I think everyone can answer that, yeah. So, actually sitting, right? That's an opportunity for our mind and our body to rest together. Just be. And then it's an opportunity also for all the other things that everyone has shared as well. Like there's a lot of opportunity in that practice. Just like if we've gotten a good night's rest, sleeping-wise, if we have a practice of sitting and knowing ourselves, then we will even know how other ways we can take care of ourselves if sitting we have too much energy inside, like walking, right? For me, dancing. And also, then in every aspect of our life, we have the opportunity, because we develop our relationship with our breath and our body, knowing where we hold our tensions, knowing the difference in our breath or our body, Because when we're nervous, or like for instance before an exam, or for me just now before speaking, I feel, I can feel the telltale signs inside of me. My heart rate changing, my breath changing, and then I can be with that, and I can just be aware of it and begin to let it release. So we can do that in every moment of our life. So with our daily practice, I have a friend who likes to talk about the off the cushion and on the cushion practice. At Deer Park, it's on a mountain, so we also refer to it as like on the mountain and off the mountain. What does our practice look like? I like the idea of on the cushion and off the cushion because I realize when I get up, I'm still have the practice with me. I'm still breathing, right? We're still living. So when we walk, maybe we're in a hurry, like if I'm in a hurry. I don't have to be in a hurry actually. Like if I need to be somewhere on a certain time and I may need to move quickly, I can move quickly without hurrying. Right? It's my mind that gives me this feeling of, oh, I need to get there, I'm going to be late, I'm going to do this. If I know it'll take me 10 minutes to get there, then I can breathe and accept it and walk with an awareness or run with an awareness, but with a freer mind, right? Where like I need to be in class in 10 minutes, I can get there, or maybe I'll be a few minutes late. That's okay. There's no reason to hold all the tension inside of me, right? It just makes things worse. So this practice has helped me to be kinder to myself, but also still support myself to be where I need to be, which is here. Right? I see some heads shaking, so yeah. So Brother Phap Ho mentioned that we practiced a bunch of different types of practices that sound a little more like sitting, total relaxation, eating, and whatnot during our retreat recently. And we can do it anywhere. The idea that mindfulness is relaxed attention, for me, I like that. When we go to the restroom, another great teacher, I heard her say, and it's a practice of mine now, it's called the rest room, not the rush room. When you sit down, you don't have to raise your hands. When you sit down, do you already prepare the toilet paper before you've taken care of your actual business or release, I should say? It's a good point. She brought awareness to it. I was like, oh yeah, I do. Like, what's the hurry? Why do I need to prepare that? What if I just relax and let the miracle that's of our bodies release what it needs to release, and then take care of it? That's a very concrete practice that we can do. It's just to sit, right? Sitting on that bowl. Yeah. So anywhere we have the opportunity, and with that, we're taking care of ourselves, and I think we find that we begin to experience life in a fuller way. So I definitely invite everyone to try to look at the pamphlets, and maybe as a group you can try eating meditation, mindful eating. Oftentimes people say their taste of their food, they haven't tasted their bell pepper the way they've ever tasted it before. Life begins to taste more brilliantly when we wake up to ourselves and the moment that we're living. So on the cushion, off the cushion, on the mountain, off the mountain. We practice. We can breathe, and we can practice and be everywhere we are. So I'm really inspired to see all of you and excited that you can all practice together. Yeah. So community is very important in that as well. So thank you.